Dean likes to get diddled. We are live.
Little way to start. Right under the bus, man. Just 1 second in.
1 second in, bro.
Don't open the door. Don't tell this man anything about your life.
I didn't say why or how.
Was that the back door?
It's off the rails already. We're
Off the
completely
rails.
We're
Off
30
the
seconds.
rails already. Off the rails already. Welcome to the Deal Champ
Cancel.
Squad. Happy birthday, Captain America.
Birthday, Dino.
It's his birthday. He got a good tricep workout in today, good biceps. Great day. We have amazing guests on today. Our good friends, Erin and Cleadus, Shelton, the best flippers in Central California. Super excited to have you guys on. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you. I love the hype coming into today. Like we're millionaires, multimillionaires, the best flippers in Fresno. Like
I always say the best flippers in Fresno.
Lift everybody up, bro.
We always try and lift everybody up, make you feel amazing because you are.
well, thank you.
Well,
Being millionaires is being millions in debt, then we're millionaires.
hell yeah.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah, that's it.
And we'll do quick intros. My name's Stratton Brown, aka Stratt Daddy. I've scaled 2 different companies to 7 figures using virtual assistants. We're still keep doing the 7-figure challenge. We'll see if we can hit it in a year. Wholesaling houses across the country. And yeah, we got the master of hair. Hair's out today.
Hair's out.
Rolly's out today.
Hair's always out for our meetups, bro. Anything live.
hair is
pod,
always
live
out
meetup,
for
Hair
the meetups.
always comes out, man. I'm your other co-host, Jason Pritchard. Backstory on me is I worked in corporate America for 15 years. I burned all the boats in 2014. And since then, we have done over 500 deals. We've got a rental portfolio just north of 100 units here in Central California. And as always, with this pod, our guests, all the content and stuff that we do, we're trying to fast track your guys' experience, learn from all my mistakes, and get you guys to your goals as fast as possible.
We have the Captain America birthday boy, Mr. Dean Rogers.
Let's go. What's up, guys? You're the co-host, Dean Rogers. Excited to be here with you guys on my birthday. For those that don't know, got my career started in the NFL, transitioned to corporate, then into real estate, been doing that 10 years. We just broke 700 deals. We're at 700 plus deals, closed, money in the bank. Really excited about that to get through that new milestone. We've got 8-figure rental portfolio, coaching students how to get started in real estate. So you guys can always connect with me at deanrogers.com.
And then we have the best house flippers in Central California. I've been saying it for years, though. The best.
Yeah.
The best.
Yes.
The best.
They're the best.
$1 million flippers. $1 million. We've seen it. We've all walked the houses.
Luxury.
Luxury house flippers, multi-millionaires, brand new rolls,
Yeah.
EVC homes. Erin and Cleadus, Shelton. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you.
It's always an honor, brother. Thank you for all the kind words.
Don't you just always feel good around these two? Like it's amazing as you work through life, you want to put yourself around, good people, right? And that makes the quality of your life better. I always just feel great to be around you guys. So we're the 3 of us, Deal Champs. We're just excited to have you guys. Around us in our lives, and you guys definitely make things better. So we appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Why don't you guys give everybody a quick background, kind of like set the stage, and then we got a whole bunch of stuff we want to get into with you guys. Just kind of tell us who you guys are, how life started, where life was, where you're at today, and then we'll get into some good stuff.
So life started very, very rough for us. We got together in 2005 and ended up being homeless in 2006, on the run from the federal marshals because of this guy, and got arrested in my mom's front yard, both of us, and we went to county.
Like, how long were you on the run, and how did they actually find you?
So we were on the run for 3 months. It's
Wow.
the marshals. I didn't realize the severity of it. And it doesn't matter if you killed somebody or if you just absconded your, federal release. They're going to come after you full force with guns drawn, guns ablazing. We were going to my mom's house to go pick up diabetic supplies for myself. And we were driving down the street and she lived in Old Fig. And I said, look, right there, there's a cop. And he goes, yeah. I go, ooh, look, there's another one. He goes, yeah. And I said, do you want me to stop or you want me to keep going? I could keep going, drop you off somewhere. He goes, no, I'm ready. So we knew they were coming. Yeah. And he was ready for them.
How stressful was that 3 months? Like, how insane was the 3 months to where, like, were you essentially tapped, Cleadus? You're like,
Yeah,
hey,
just done.
like,
done.
I'm
I
just
can't deal
fucking
with this
done, bro. I
anymore.
cannot
Yeah.
take this anymore.
You know, you never get any peace and happiness, right? It's very miserable. You know, at any moment that the hammer's coming down, and realities, you know, you got to go face the consequences of the choices you made.
It was stressful because we had no money. We were living in a car, you know.
What were you guys doing for like money to like live off of?
Hustling, bro.
Just hustling,
Selling.
straight hustling.
I hate saying a whole lot, but
Yeah.
Hustling, brother. And, you know, on the streets, we weren't flipping houses, we weren't selling houses. We were, you know, we hustling, selling dope. You know.
For 3 months, and so would you violate your parole? What was it?
Yeah, I was on supervised release with the feds. You know, it sounds real bad, but at the end of the day, you know, when we got arrested and the handcuffs went on, actual relief goes over, and knowing that, you know,
Like, fuck. Okay,
now we can move forward.
we can take another step.
There's going to be some
Yeah.
consequences, and you know, moving forward. But you know, to be honest with you, you know, I went and did 5 years originally with the Fed sentence, and you know, when we went in front of the judge, I did on this violation of absconding with Erin. I got sentenced to 6 months federal prison and 90 days West Care, so it was a 9-month sentence. But that 6 months in federal prison was actually harder than my 5-year sentence, and the reason is because this was my third trip to the feds, because I had 2 violations and abscondings prior to this one after my first original 5 years. So, you know, I've done numerous bouts of, you know, incarceration throughout that supervision. But that 6 months was harder than the 5 years, because up to me meeting Erin, I never had anybody that I loved,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't love myself. So for me, I lived in the streets, and I lived in a very cold and dark world.
Yeah.
You know, being in the streets and selling dope and, you know, hustling and stuff is a whole different world. And I'd lost myself.
And it's
I've been
crazy
out
because
there
you
for
guys
20
have the
years,
biggest hearts I know.
Yeah.
you know?
You guys have enormous. You guys are the most giving people I know.
Yeah, and that's because, you know what, brother, we come from nothing. And you know what, I just spent I spent 14 years with West Care. You know, just left them a year ago, and that's where I started off as a client, being sentenced there, and I climbed from being a client all the way up to the vice president of California over that journey, which was not an easy, fast climb, but it was a very grinding, hustling grind.
You kind of manifested it.
Yeah, I
He
did.
graduated West Care. He got up on stage and said,
Coming for all your jobs.
Yeah.
well, he told the
VP.
the VP at the
Sean,
time, he
yeah.
said, I'm going to take your job.
Wow.
And he did.
Look
That's
at
fucking
isn't that
dope.
wild, bro? I get chills even just hearing that right now, dude.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
cool
I
how you
walked
call
into
your
my
shot like
counselor's
that, yeah.
office, and he had all these things on his wall: certificate, AS degree, you know, Phi Theta Kappa, all that, Dean's Medallion winner. I said, you know what? I'm going to get all those.
And he did.
I did. Dean's Medallion winner, Fresno City College, 4.0 GPA, president of Alpha Gamma Sigma Phi Theta Kappa. I had every rope, everything, and I got my GED in federal prison.
Wow.
So
I love it.
Why you got it?
because they offered $25 if you took it and passed it.
Yeah.
What I have to lose? I didn't have
Right.
to pay
What
to
else
take it. I mean, I just go sit down and take it. I passed it. You know what I mean? Like, I was amazed. That was the first time, honestly, back then, that was the first time that the light bulb went off, that I wasn't just street smart. I had more potential in me.
Okay.
Because I mean, I sat down and took this test and somehow was able to pass it, and pass it with pretty high score without even, you know, I dropped out of high school, bro, like sophomore year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And was out there. So it was, I mean, the education up to that point was, you know, not the greatest.
So I got an interesting question. So I think what's cool about being like in the entrepreneur space is, you know, it's to get there, it's not your usual path, right? And a lot of entrepreneurs are born out of maybe a misfortune or a situation that wasn't so great, or something they didn't want to live with and they wanted something better, right? what do you think it is about, your experiences, the choices that you made in life to lead you to where you were? But coming out of that, what do you think put you on the path to kind of like get your life right, to strive for a better life? Like, what was it about you personally? Is that just kind of how you were growing up? You always wanted to have, a better life, a dream life, so to speak, or like, how did you even get on that path?
It was me.
Yeah, I believe it.
Like I shared is like, no, honestly, brother, I never thought about up until the day I met her. The first day I met Erin in 2005, I walked up to her. I told her, I'm going to marry you. And she didn't want nothing to do with me. She told me, get away from me, you weirdo. And we didn't see each other for like, how many months after that?
6 months.
Wow.
6 months later, we ran into each other here in Fresno, and we've been together ever since, besides
You
incarceration.
guys just at like a party or something? Or like, how'd you guys run into
Walked
each other?
into the dope spot. I
Okay.
walked in and he was sitting there. I was like,
Oh my God, it's him.
But and we've been together since then, October 22nd of 2005. So
Like, I'm out. Like, you're not going anywhere.
well, okay. So backstory. I went to my brother's work, and he worked for a pool supply company that they sold all the parts for, like, to build a pool. And they were having a casino night and like an open house, and you go around to the vendors and get, your little bingo card signed off, and then you go trade it in for chips. So he's like, come eat some tri-tip, drink some beer. I'm like, cool. So I'm hanging out, and then he's like, hey, do you want to make money? I was like, I always want to make money. And he goes, do you want a deal? I'm like, okay, what am I dealing? Poker, blackjack, what am I dealing? He goes, blackjack. And I was like, yeah, sure. How much? He goes, $40. Cool. He kept coming to my table, and I'm like, dude, you need to stop now, because I'm going to take all your money. And I took all of his money twice.
I was just trying to be closer.
But the banter back and forth, I was like, this guy's kind of funny, And then he put a cone on his head. I took a picture. I had that picture in my phone for like months, and then I deleted it in August, and then we ran into each other again in October.
Erin, was it hard for you when Cleadus ended up having to go back and then being in Westcare to stay committed? Because it sounds like you guys were earlier on in the relationship at that point, right? And it's like something in you saw something in him, I would imagine, where it was like, I have to hang around for this guy, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah. It wasn't hard to stay committed.
Yeah.
I was a homebody. I just wrote him little letters, went to the mailbox, and then waited for his phone call. That's all I did.
That shit makes me a little bit emotional, because I'll be honest with you, like, dude, like, man, I was scared of losing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, honestly,
yeah,
the first time in my life I had something that I cared about. And I never cared about myself.
Yeah.
In all the years that I was out there. And to have, that's why when I say that 6 months was harder than that 5 years, because I actually stressed every moment of every day that I was going to lose something that I may never have again. And I had a taste of it. And it was real love.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
On New Year's Eve.
Well, in the feds, you only get 300 minutes a month. And I exhausted my 300 minutes like within the first 10 days in December. And I was trying to hustle to get another phone because some other guy didn't have. I was going to use his thing. And long story short is I had to go 21 days without talking to her. Yeah. Well, she wrote me all the time, but I just, your mind starts to wander.
Tricks on you, yeah.
Tricks on you, and especially when you're insecure and you're in a fucking environment like that.
Yeah.
And like, dude, honestly, why would she stick around?
Yeah.
I don't have a pot to piss in, a window to throw out. I don't have $1 to my name, and I ain't got nothing to offer besides her coming to pick me up from prison when I get out.
Yeah.
So why would she stick around?
Wow.
So I for sure thought, and I kept calling and calling. The day they turned the phone on was January 1st, because you re-up your minutes on the 1st. They cracked the door, and at 6 a.m, I'm out there dialing, and her or dad always answered the phone. No one answered. I kept calling. That just reassured that, she's been out all night, New Year's Eve, partying.
Yeah.
Somebody else has got her attention.
Yeah.
This, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm laying on my bunk crying. And about 2 or 3 hours later, my bunkie comes over. He goes, hey, you got a visit. I'm like, man, don't fuck with me, Brad. I'm going through it, you know? And he goes, no, seriously, you got to visit, get up. And I'm like, oh my God, starting to, you know, and go out there and it's her. And, you know, I should have never doubted her.
Yeah.
That's
But
crazy.
we get insecure and we have those moments, you know, even today with different things or whatever, we get in our own mind and we could take ourselves, you know, in different places, right? That's why when you talk about manifesting and power of positive thinking and all these things, you know, those things are real things. You know, you got individuals can go right or left.
And it works the other way too. You know what I mean? Because you
100%.
can start spiraling and then it starts to manifest bad results in your
Absolutely,
life too. Yeah,
my
man,
brother.
wow.
Absolutely. So, you know, we're very humbled and grateful just to even be here today. I'd be very, very real with you. Ever since we got that rose, I've struggled with just, I don't even want the attention of it.
Yeah.
That isn't the purpose of it.
Yeah.
And it's just because who we are, you know what I mean? It's not like I want to be a flashy person. You know, we don't wear jewelry. I don't,
It's another stream
Yeah.
of income.
It's another-
you know, it's a tax write-off and it's a stream of income and it's a big, scary situation,
Yeah.
to be honest with
Yeah.
you. But I'm always going to be real and honest with it. You guys and with everybody, it's just like that. I mean, yeah, I'm proud to be able to go do that. Yeah. No doubt, 100%. But the attention that comes with it, or the way, you know, I always worry about people, the way they look at you or think about you, like,
Must be nice.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but I mean, I struggle with that at times because I'm very humble, dude. Like, you know, I could drive around in a Pinto if I had to.
Yep.
As long as I ain't walking,
That's right.
you know. So
My biggest, I want to shout you out though, because me and Jason went to your West Care charity dinner, and I thought I was so grateful that you let us be a part of that, like full circle moment of your life. You came out of West Care, and then you guys were the main sponsor
Crazy.
of the
Wow,
West
bro.
Care
Yeah.
charity dinner, and this was what, a month ago.
What a feeling, man.
We went out there and like,
Us and
what a
Brad.
feeling.
Yeah.
You and Brad.
Yeah.
But still, like that is such a full circle moment for you. To where, how long ago did you get out and like go into West Care?
that was 2006 when it went in, because I got out in August, right?
2007, February.
Oh, February.
And then he spent 3 months there. And then, so yeah, and then he went to City College at the end of the 2008 and then became an intern there in 2009. And then he was offered an AmeriCorps grant and he did 1,700 hours of service to West Care. And it was it was a full year. He got a stipend and he was collecting unemployment. And
Yeah.
yeah, and at the end of his AmeriCorps grant, boom, they hired him on the spot.
An hour.
I mean, but
you know,
So let's talk about, so that's 2008-9. You guys started, I think we started around the same time, 2014, something like that, right? So then there's this like what feels like a 4 or 5 year period where you're having to become a new version of yourself before we even get into real estate, right? And so I think lots of people want to skip over that part. They'll look at the down and out, and then they look at now, and they don't realize there was 5 years of you having to change all these bad habits, all these like redeveloping your work ethic. So talk about that, because it wasn't just like this rags to riches overnight success story, right?
So what happened was the economy tanked.
Yeah.
And I was working for a construction company. He was working for Rainsoft, digging trenches and installing water softeners. Well, the business was not doing well in either of these fields.
Yeah.
And I got laid off first. He got laid off second, and then he went to school immediately. Well, he was already going to school, and then he just went full force into school. But I got laid off from the construction company, and you know, I started working on our credit. Like that was immediately. I was like, okay, let me clean this stuff up, because I don't want to be in an apartment all of our life, you know. So I started disputing stuff, and just I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I was just looking on the internet, and then okay, let me fix this one. And you know, I was in so many collections and had student loan collections and all these things. When we bought our first house, which was in 2013, I wasn't even on the deed. It was him.
Yeah.
And I worked on his credit so much. And then when we were looking to buy a house, Lennar gave us a checklist of things to do. And I still have that checklist to this day on the pad of paper that, you know, I wrote them
Uh-huh,
down
yeah.
on. And I worked on his credit because I knew mine was zero hope. And because my debt to income was so out of whack because of my student loans. So I worked on his, got him qualified for the house. We bought it FHA with a CHDAP, silent second. And
Yeah.
And back then, I was the program coordinator at Westcare. It was 2013 because I'd been there
but
Five-
we both
5
just
years now.
got
Yeah.
promotions
Yeah.
when we were getting ready to close.
And
It's cool.
for
Yeah.
us to buy that house, like, dude, like, honestly, for us to even have that apartment for 6 years before buying that house and paying rent and
Consistency.
becoming,
Yeah, dude.
becoming
Yeah.
normal individuals in the
Yeah.
community to where you're being, you know, a blessing, you're paying taxes, you're doing the right thing, you're doing all these things, was amazing. But to buy that house, you know, after, especially after being homeless and being out there and then having a steady place to live, call home for 6 years and then buy that home, dude, that was like mind blowing.
Yeah.
You know, we had zero experience with real estate.
Yeah.
That was 2013.
Yeah.
We didn't sign up for fortune builders and do all that, and which, you know, that's the further story is till January of 2014.
Wow.
We had zero real estate experience.
So what were some of the things like Jason was talking about, that transition you went through? What were some of the tools or resources or like close mentors, distant mentors? What were the things that helped you guys figure that stuff out?
Well, I'll give a lot of credit to Westcare. It was a very safe environment that allowed us an opportunity for change, and we were surrounded by people and individuals who loved us. You know, it all started with Erin coming to see me as a client, and then even as an employer, you know, being employed there. It was always a family philosophy, and it was always surrounded by love. Even if we made mistakes or whatever, they loved us, embraced us, and you know, we had people above me and above her and around us. You know, there was obviously, you know, there's good and bad everywhere, but the bottom line is that Westcare provided that opportunity where we could get our minds right, get our life back together. And, you know, that's why we became very big champions. And that's why we're champions today about giving back. You can't keep it unless you give it away,
right.
you know, and
Can't
we
stop
stay
with
humble.
you. Those blessings can't just stop with you. And
No, you got to transfer
Yeah.
it, my brother. And, you know, there isn't anything Erin and I wouldn't do for somebody as long as they ain't trying to hustle us. Right. You know, we give and give everywhere we can, just because we know that we didn't get here by ourselves. It was because of many, many people. You know, there's many people in this journey, not just Westcare. You know, you guys have impacted us and been there for us and done things for us you probably don't even realize. But today it's a community that it does that. You know, you're going to have this room full tonight, and that room's going to be full of people who are part of a community today that didn't exist in this community in 2014 when we started real estate investing. It was very isolated. It was very competitive. It was like, you know, it's me against you and nobody. And there definitely wasn't even fucking women investors. Erin was like, had to earn her respect out there. With contractors and in the field. Now you're going to see half this room women. A lot of women investors that are doing, you know, big, you know, great things because of your coaching programs, your mentoring, your give back. It's a beautiful thing today to know that no matter what, we're not alone. And I think that that's what's important is people realize that power's in the numbers. I tap Brad, Wayne, Jason. If I have something that comes up and we haven't experienced it, or people call me when they haven't experienced it, you know, we share that openly without any even thinking about it. How can we help? If I got a big problem, like when Fresno County was suing us over there on Van Ness, you know where I call Brad.
What immediately?
You know,
and you know what, bro? Like, think about how stressed out you would be if you had to solve that problem on your own, bro. It's like you have the HOA on Christmas Tree Lane breathing down your neck. You do something that you feel like I didn't realize
it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, it's like I'm not trying to mess anything up, and now if you don't have that community or that network or whatever to be able to help you quickly realize, like, listen, bro, everything's going to be fine. This is how we're going to solve the problem. Any problem can be fixed. Your brain will just start racing, bro. Mentally, you'll be stressed out.
Right.
You're like, oh my
when I got that served letter, Fresno County suing us, you know, and the first call we had with their attorney, I mean, the county of Fresno suing us. I've been, you know, I fought the feds, U.S.
The
United States of America versus Cleadus. That was, but that was when I was fucked up and had it coming.
Yeah.
I don't do that stuff today. I don't,
Yeah.
my everything we do is do the right thing. So we were blindsided by, and it brought up a lot of old feelings when you're being sued or you're thinking you did something wrong. And honestly, he thought we were out of town investors who said, fuck Christmas tree lane. And, I'm cutting the tree down if I want to or not. And that wasn't the facts.
Yeah.
And he was totally against me even speaking unless I had an attorney. I said, well, I'm not hiring one because I'm here to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And hopefully you don't take me and bend me over a trash can after I be honest with you. But I got a phone call and the guy asked if I want him to cut the tree down. It doesn't look safe. And they were out there cutting the trees. And I said, well, if it doesn't look safe, cut it down.
Yeah.
Hung up, went back to work. I'm working at Westcare, right? Well, like an hour later, the whole world went crazy because come to find out, which wasn't in the disclosures, wasn't in the prelim, and nobody sent us a letter explaining that the middle of Van Ness 60 feet this way and the middle of Van Ness 60 feet that way belongs to Fresno County. And this tree happened to be on that 60 feet mark. But was so far deep into our property, you would never know that.
Yeah.
I cut all kinds of other bushes and stuff down that belong to them too.
Normally, we're getting fined by the city and the
Because
county
you have
if our
too many weeds.
stuff is So exactly, bro.
So it's just ignorance, But through that, a lot of changes happened in Old Fig, where they're now the committee and the community there's now sending out newsletters and stuff about these setbacks and all these things, and it was crazy, bro. It was crazy times, but yeah.
I wanted to hear about your journey of like self-love. Like it sounds pretty woo-woo, but it's a lot. Because if you want to like prepare yourself to the next level, you have to, number one, think you deserve it. And that comes from self-love, accepting yourself, knowing like, hey, I deserve this. Like all these things, especially as you've talked about yourself like back in the day and how everything was and like how you thought about yourself, to where you've had to completely switch that frame of the way you think about yourself from a day-to-day with all those internal thoughts.
Well, we are somebody, and we learned that through loving each other and caring for each other, and the helping other people, and teaching other people that were where we were, lost and hopeless and homeless, teaching them that they are somebody and believing in them and nobody else does, right? And even their self. So through teaching, it really helped us manifest. Grow our self-love for ourselves and knowing that we are worthy and we deserve these things as long as we're working hard and doing the right thing, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because you said like I did not like myself, and
No,
I had to grow in self-love, like love for myself.
He was not a nice person when he was under the influence. He was a jerk, and I wanted to fight. So
Yeah.
I always tell everybody, you don't have to worry about me whipping that.
Yeah. What was the transition to real? So we get into the house, your guys' primary residence. That sounded like 2013. 2014 is when we started. I know there was Fortune Builders was kind of the launching off point, but there was something that had to happen to get you there. So was there always, I feel like, and this was me and probably a little bit of all of us, there was always this drive that we had where it's like, if you have this hustler entrepreneur spirit, you just needed to point it at the right thing. You know what I mean? And you were in the wrong vehicle, obviously, at the beginning. But did something just click when you saw the thing for Fortune Builders or the flipping shows or whatever, where you're like, fuck, dude, maybe we should just try our hand at this, or was it something else? Yeah.
So
yeah,
he was not wanting to do it. I was the one, no, let's go. So I've always wanted to be an interior designer, flipping houses. We've always watched flipping shows on Saturday. And I was driving to work, heard the radio announcement, Dan Merrill, do you want to learn how to flip houses in your neighborhood? And I was like, hell yeah, I do. So I was like, oh, cool. They're going to be in town. And I used to watch them on A&E all the time on Saturday, flip this house. So I told him, he's like, oh, no, it's a scam. It's a scam. And I was like, dude, but it's Dan Merrill and JD and Paul. It can't be a scam. So we were in the car one Saturday, just driving around. I always like to look at houses. And I said, there's a radio announcement again. I go, call the number. He called the number, got us into the 2-hour free event. The free event turned into a 3-day event. That 3-day event, that was like man, I am so pumped. I want to do this. I started filling out that because you have to actually apply for their program.
Right.
And I took the application home the first night. I'm sitting there filling it out. I'm so excited and I'm filling it out. And he's researching. He goes, do you know?
Yeah. For the reviews. Yeah.
Do you know how much this is going to cost? And both of us, we were, so kind of rewind, we were both in our bachelor's program. My dad got sick in August of 2013. And he was, sorry, still, it's emotional, but he was diagnosed with cancer, didn't have very much longer to live. And he passed October 10th of 2013. Left me a little bit of money. We paid off our student loans because I know what that student loan debt will do when it follows you.
That's good.
Yeah.
We didn't go back to finish our bachelor's. 2014 January, we signed up for Fortune Builders, filled out the application. He was, we were still on hold thinking we were going to go back to do our bachelor's. He goes, do you know how much this is going to cost? I was like, well, it's education. I'm sure it's not cheap, And he goes, it's $25,000. And I said, okay, how much is our bachelor's going to cost?
Right.
He goes, 40 grand. I go, for both of us? He goes, no, for each of us. I go, okay, that's $80,000. And we're going to get stuck working at a nonprofit where we can never pay that loan back.
Dan, Erin knew. She knew the game. She
And
knew the game back then.
You know what's
bro.
crazy
she
about
already
that
knew.
is people are so indoctrinated in the traditional education. And for decades, that's been great and what people need and need to have a vehicle like that. But it's easy for most people to say, oh, no, I should go to school for something I might not even do.
Exactly.
But you found something that seemed expensive, but actually was less expensive. And it was a better vehicle for you.
Yeah. And I said, okay, that's $25,000 for both of us at the bargain price of $25,000 for both of us. And he goes, well, since you put it that way. And I said, so I'm going to finish filling out this application. Okay. And then we turned it in and they would call your name and your name would show up on the TV. And
really?
Yeah. And I was not like really focused on what it was. Ryan Burke. I was not focused on what he was saying. I was looking for my name all fucking day long. And my name never showed up on the TV. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But it was people that gave back their time. They were flipping themselves in their own markets, and they were just giving back their time to Fortune Builders. And I was like, why wouldn't we want to be a part of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had all the right foundation pieces, of honesty, giving back, and
integrity.
Yeah. That
education
with all the things that we had put into our life through the recovery and through changing our life, right? So there was a lot of alignment. Erin, she deserves way more acclimates than she ever gets, but she pushes us to new levels on a constant basis, because there's been times like that moment. I'm gonna tell you, when she wrote that check, I wasn't fucking stopping until we got that fucking money back.
Yeah, that's
From
right.
a hustler standpoint, because her dad worked 42 years at Me and Ed's, bro.
Yeah.
All his life, and he saved every penny that
Great
he did
pizza, by
have
the way.
to be able to give to her, that he would never even see her enjoy, because he's not going to be here. And it wasn't a lot.
Yeah,
Don't get me
that's
wrong.
right. Yeah.
But it was a lot.
It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime. It was a lot, bro.
Back
It's a
then in
lifetime.
2000,
Work, bro.
especially
Yeah.
2014. Remember,
Yeah.
we were homeless in 2006.
Right.
So 2013,
Economy
we
was
bought
not good.
Yeah, we weren't stopping, and it was every day for that first year, just grinding after work, working full-time jobs every evening with headphones plugged in, watching videos from Fortune Builder on the weekends, running properties, going to meetups, networking. The same stuff we still do today, networking, marketing, learning, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And it was very scary. Just like anything else, but it was fun. and you get jazzed out going to meetups and stuff and networking and all that.
I think that beginning phase for a lot of people is really important to touch on, because you guys literally started with no experience. Obviously, a passion for design, right? You had bought a primary house, but it wasn't like you had come in with.
Brother, we're in the room with fortune builders with 200 people in the audience, and they're talking about ROI. And
what does that mean?
In our world, it was release of information because it's a nonprofit.
Yeah.
But they're talking about return on it. That's how ignorant we were, like with real estate.
Wild.
Yeah.
You know, so we had to learn all the acronyms and this and that. Like we were just dumb as they come.
Was there something or any, like now thinking back 10 years ago, where you were like, man, this was not what I expected? We got in, because the way that I kind of look at it is the shows, they show everything after the hard part, which is finding the house. Right. So then you think it's like, oh, we get this house and then we go in and we get to do the fun part and then we make some money. And they're really not very open about how much work is involved in finding the house. Yeah. So what was like the struggles for you guys? Was it finding deals? Was it like raising money? What were the things that you guys really struggled with?
It was raising money in the early stages. You know, no one believes in you, you know, private, well, especially back in that community, because like, it was very closed. It was like either you went hard money and you found ways to get the gap money, or you had the gap money.
Our money was out.
It wasn't like it is today.
Yeah.
With social media and all that, because
you know,
like your students could reach out to you or us, and you know, if they get the deal, like you get the deal, we're gonna get the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you're starting out, you're always worried about the money, right? And for us, we didn't go the traditional route. We weren't wholesalers. We weren't doing that. We were wannabe flippers and always
wasn't really talked about at that time either.
Talk about you guys fumbling the bag on that first deal.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, ignorance, we at least could have sold it to somebody else, but we had no intentions. We were just so focused on getting that first deal. We got it locked up in that first year. I don't know, probably 10 months later into it. And we get to we got our contractor bid, numbers are good, hard money loans good. And then we were at a meetup and everybody's talking about, you know, the gap money, they'll fund it.
Yeah.
Well, we went and met with 2 or 3 people and they wouldn't fund it because this is our first deal.
Yeah.
And we had the little bit of money we had left. We had loaned 30 grand to a guy in Florida. And so our money was tied up. So we had to end up canceling that escrow, which at that moment was a pivotal point for us because it was deflating for about 2 minutes because we felt like we fell. But then we looked at each other and wiped our little faces and put our chin up and said, you know what? We learned all these things. Yeah. The next one, we're going to take it across the line.
Be that much easier,
you know, but those moments are where it gets challenging and difficult, you know, especially after 10 months, you got money invested, you ain't made a penny, you're working every day at work, you get off, you're, you know, putting in the grind and the hustle. Because the only thing that's keeping you going is you, no matter what, you can never fail if you don't ever quit.
Yeah.
And anything in life.
I love that. Yeah.
You know, and that's, I live by that.
Yeah.
Because failure is not an option as long as we don't lay down and quit and surrender, right?
That's right.
That's the biggest thing. Everybody's got a different path. Some people are going to have results right away. Some are going to take longer. So during that time, did you guys ever get to the point where you're just like, is this going to work for us? Are we doing something wrong? Or did you just have like unrelenting faith? Like you were going to make it work.
Remember I told you, we weren't stopping until we got the money back. So that was like, we were hyper focused.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then once you got the money, then that's like, oh, fuck, we could do this.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing that with us too is we were very different because we weren't sending out campaigns. We weren't, you know, doing direct mail. They told us to do all that, but what we were really focusing on was networking.
Yeah.
Building relationships and leveraging those relationships.
Yeah. You know, we hung some bandit signs and those didn't work. And, you know,
yeah.
Well, back then, the other flippers.
No, the other flippers would hang right over the top of them.
Or tear your shit
Yeah.
down.
You jerk.
Alan Folio taught me how to do that.
Yeah, but see, that's the shiesty shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just hang it below.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That would be a,
I wouldn't
like, all right,
either.
bro.
Yeah.
He's getting a stendo stick to put them all the way up.
So I made ours.
You did.
I made ours with a
ABS pipe.
Yeah, yeah.
And the hammer
Same.
stapler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in the back of the truck. Back of the truck.
Yeah.
I watched a YouTube video on
Yeah,
how to make it,
same.
and I made it
Yeah.
one night.
Yeah, we got a photo of me holding our bandit signs when they came in. You know.
Oh, they were flashy. They were black, orange, and white.
Mm.
Go Giants.
Do you guys know anybody in town who still uses them?
No,
No.
not that I know.
No.
Of. Don't ever see them up anymore either.
But
No.
you know, one of the things that Fortune Builders did teach us early on is call those bandit signs and say, "Hey, I'm also an investor. I want to be added to your buyers list." But 9 times out of 10, nobody would answer the phone.
It was Google
Yeah.
Voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess they don't.
That's
don't
why there's
want a deal.
opportunity for us because people
Yeah.
aren't doing the work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And he answered the phone every single time. But it was always a guy, I want to rent a house. Okay, well, you need to call somebody that rents houses.
Yeah.
I'm looking to buy houses.
You know, full-time jobs, and you can't answer the phone every day all the time when it rings and this and that and dealing with it, and then it piles up. You get off, and it's like you're trying to, you know,
Catch up with everything.
catch back up. We just quickly realized, you know what, we just need to focus on relationships and go to people who are spending the money. And that's when we teamed up. We met with Manny Chavez. He was the friendly, investor friendly broker in town.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
He had Paul Clare, Jason Sabaji, and he took us under his wings, and we were third in line for deals, but at least we were in line.
Yeah.
And they were spending the money, him and his team, and they were in the MLS, which we didn't have access. So like, you know, for us to even get access to that and the MLS and deals and third in line, it was a blessing.
Yeah.
And helping us with the ARVs and, you know, and building confidence. And and ever since then, for the last 10.5 years, you know, it's always been about relationships for us. We don't do marketing.
Yeah.
We don't spend.
So I want to talk about that because I think for a lot of people getting started out, you know, they might not know where to start. And I always talk about networking as one of the most powerful ways. It doesn't matter if you're just getting started, your experience, like you've got to make that a priority because it can catapult your business and just be the gift that keeps on giving. So can you guys talk about what you feel has allowed you guys to be successful in there? Because you guys have scaled a business to where you're at today on relationships. So what are some of the key things that you guys do to build these relationships, to find people to connect with, and, you know, how do you add value to them so that there can be, you know, a win-win for everybody?
I think finding people are in these rooms, you know, at meetups, at, you know, any real estate event that is being held in the community that you want to buy houses in. That's where you need to be.
Yeah.
Adding value is we're just genuinely, you know, we want to give back to people. We want to help people. We love helping people. And it's just do what you say you're going to do and, you know, be very helpful to people that need it. And I mean, it comes back. It comes back tenfold.
What about your guys' Facebook? Because I get tagged by you all the time with your morning Facebook posts. Does that move the needle for you, like legitimately?
I think
Because I'm not on Facebook a lot, but like I just thought about how consistently you do it and how you're probably at the top of everybody's algorithm at all times. Cleadus is here every morning.
He built a really big following just doing that, just his positivity every single day and the consistency. Consistency of posting. Like me, shoot, I can't tell you last time I got on Facebook. Facebook is dead to me.
Yeah, like I'm like on and off Facebook, but if you're watching this, I feel like the real estate world lives on Facebook.
Yeah.
The real estate world loves
That's
Facebook.
crazy.
It's where
I'm
it's
all
all
about the IG now.
And you could tell how much that Facebook audience resonates because I posted yesterday, just created a post, tagged us on this stage, and it got so much engagement, so many shares. So it really goes and speaks to not just how positive an impact, but how powerful that is, right? And I think there's this combination of staying top of mind by not just the motivational stuff that you post, but also sharing your track record. You guys have shared so many projects. And I've seen so many posts that here's the before and after, and people just love it. And I think it's a great way to show like we are active in this business, right? And then people follow you and you really create this captive audience from 2014, 15, 16. And then they see you guys 7, 8 years later, literally I don't know anybody else in town that's flipping $1 million houses. Seriously, guys.
no.
And definitely not at the level that you guys are doing it, and not at the frequency that you guys are doing it. And it takes lots of guts, lots of I mean, I'm sure sleepless nights, and we'll get into that, but you can follow your journey and see how you built an organic audience, right? And you can post something and to get that much engagement and shares and people like saying, and I'm sure we're going to fill this room up today just for that support. It shows how impactful you guys have been in the
And
community.
his Facebook posts, like they went on a tear earlier this year. They're like buying like a house a day 1 month, to where like, hey, we're proud to announce we just closed on another flip.
Yeah.
We just closed on another flip. We just closed on another flip. Like, man, this
Well,
man cannot slow down.
We're sitting here holding the bag. Ever gonna fucking
Dude,
sell.
you know what's crazy, bro? It's like we come off this $2 million fucking house, right? Like the biggest deal we ever did. Scared to death internally, not telling anybody, but scared because you swing a big hammer and you miss. Big hammer's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was $5,000 a month just to try to mow the yard and keep things
And expecting
PG.
to hold it for a whole year and to sell it in 3 months.
And not-
that was like,
Not knowing if we were gonna sell it in a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was scary. So when we sold it, right, and we're done. So we're like, okay, that took a lot from us mentally, physically. We're going to stay away from the big stuff for a little bit. We're going to go to the 500 and under. And now, like, the first 2-1 we put out there, dude, it sold in 2 hours.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
And then, like, by the time we got the next one done, like, because we got like 6 houses right now, like 2 or 3 more coming. One's going to hit the market today, I think. One's going to hit one probably next week. We got one on the market and one in escrow. We got one hitting the market today, one probably next week,
we
and
have
then
2 on the market.
2.
Arthur and
Gerhardt.
Tragedies.
Oh, and Gerhardt. Yeah, we got
Gerhardt will
3
hit
on
the
the market.
market.
Yeah, but
We lost his train of thought.
no. What I'm saying is, like, you get 5-6 of those at 300, 400, 500,000, and they're not moving, and then the way that things.
It's like
Yeah.
a $2 million
Yeah.
house.
It's still
Next
adds
thing
up.
you know, we're back at 2 million.
Yeah.
But we got 6 houses.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there's always something that is you never know, right? And you just got to be able to mentally.
But at
handle
least
it.
those little ones are liquid. That big one's not liquid. Like you could fire sell one of the little ones.
Oh yeah,
They'd be like, okay, I feel better.
yeah.
Let's fire sell off 2. We can't fire
there's
sell a quarter of the $2
always
million
a way
house.
out, brother. It's just a matter of if it ain't one thing, it's another, and it's just a matter of your mindset, right, and the way you look at it and think about it.
Our exit strategy is always we could move into that one. I don't want to move into any of these houses that are on the market right now.
These ones have
Stay
to sell.
deep in the
Yeah,
ghetto.
Are in the 06, bro.
Or you can
man,
refi it in rentals and
But
whatever.
There's a really good barbecue spot right around the corner from there.
But it's in the hood.
It's in the hood, Butler and Orange.
Yeah.
So, it's, I don't know, dude. Like, I love what we do. We've got so many blessings in our life. We're very humbled and grateful. To be able to have 5 or 6 houses on the market, that's no easy thing. We dreamed of that when we started, right? And to be able to get those deals all hand delivered to you, pocket lit
No
deals.
negotiation.
Here it is before we tell anybody else.
Yeah.
And, creating win-wins and people grateful to help us because the world we put out good and it's come back to us. We've been blessed, my brother. I don't know how many deals we've bought from you over the time. I remember Dean would send it out and be like, you still got it? Like trying to react.
You
quick.
are active though.
Yeah.
Whenever I send stuff out in Fresno,
Yeah.
I would get a text message immediately.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you still got this thing? Have you
Yeah.
sold it yet?
Yeah.
I want it. What's the price?
Yeah.
Homeboy is always on his phone.
Always, but it's like immediately as soon as an email goes out.
He's probably working.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I am looking at porn or anything.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
He's not online shopping because that's my job.
So, it's just to be where we are today, have multiple businesses, have multiple joint venture partnerships, have joint venture deals with people. Like we got one deal that's an escrow that we were able to. We got the deal brought to us. We were able to offer a couple sisters that has been working very hard to get their first flip, and just asked them if they wanted to join us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you know what? if that would have been done to us, we would have been very grateful and thankful to someone take us under their wing and give something away to them and be able to mentor and, give them the experience of that first one so they have their confidence and splitting the deal,
Do you guys have like a quota that you guys want to do on that every year? Because it seems like you got like 2 people a year. You helped me and Butts a couple of years back, and I decided I'm never flipping a house again.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Stressful, bro.
Yeah. Over 3 years ago, we made like $6,000 a piece or something.
No,
like
bro, we made fucking $2,000 a piece.
$2,000, whatever.
We made,
Okay,
like,
but then we went and
we
wholesaled it to. We loaned them money, so we made even more money.
But that was the best decision we could have ever made.
Yeah, just exiting.
On just exiting that thing.
And honestly, we didn't do anything wrong. I mean, that's fraud. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
Yeah, she's got, long story short, but she's got Jacoby and Myers and trying to come after us from 3 years ago saying she fell, and she didn't. That's
it. Welcome to the glorious life of it is the glorious life of being real estate investor. And this is what's interesting, and you and I talk about this a lot, bro. It's like when you've overcome so many, like you guys you have a crazy story and these crazy challenges, right? And so it creates, this is what we've talked about, this frame of reference that we have, where it's like, dude, the hard part's already done. Me getting here was the miracle, dude. So it's like, if I got to deal with some attorney calling me about a tree or some lady that's claiming that she fell down, and if that's the worst of my problems, bro, I'm still doing okay, man. Yeah.
We had insurance, so our insurance is attorneys dealing with that, right? So that's, thank God, right? That's why you have insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. Like if it was left up to me and Stratton and Erin having to hash this out, we'd have to go try to settle for a couple.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah.
Try to buy them out like cash for keys or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so their heart is so big. When we were going to evict these people, I was like, fuck them. They can rot on the ground. And Aaron was, it wasn't Aaron, it was Cleadus. He's like, no, bro, they're good people. Exactly. We'll just pay them to leave. We still paid them to leave like 3 days before the eviction because their attorney approached us. Wow. And then they decided to come back, and we got like a letter like 6 months later or something saying like, hey, we're suing you.
That instinct, though, has paid off, I'm sure, 100 times more than in this particular situation, bro.
And that's I have ever seen. And he's like, I don't regret it.
And it will be proven right at some point on why you made that decision. It may not even be clear right now, but that's the one thing that I've learned. At some point later on down the road, it's going to be obvious why this thing happened, and then it's going to click, and it reinforces this muscle that you're building right now.
Yeah, you don't allow other people's behaviors and actions to change your behaviors and actions. And taking the high road isn't always easy, but I can tell you what, it's the most rewarding with peace and happiness. Knowing that you did the best thing you could do for that individual or that situation, right, wrong, or indifference, because everybody has opinions, and they may feel differently or think differently, but that's them and that isn't ours. I get to lay my head down at night and peace in my pillow, knowing, hey, I did the best I could with that situation. So
love it.
We got like one more question. You guys have anything you want to ask?
Yeah.
So how did you guys find yourselves in, getting your journey started with Fortune Builders and, following the blueprint that they had and getting your first deal? How the heck did you get into luxury flips? Now, I know, to preface that, I know you already said you wanted to be an interior designer, but how did you have the guts to say, I'm going to go after these big houses. I'm going to create new comps in the neighborhood. I'm going to create new comps in the neighborhood and set a new standard. How did you have the balls to do that?
I think just starting out with the smaller flips, and because I was pretty much probably one of a handful of women in this industry in the very beginning, that I kind of set the bar high, because a lot of these guys, they were, construction guys, and they're using the contractor grade lighting and, just doing cookie cutter stuff. And when I go into a house, any house that we buy, I get a feel for that house.
Yeah.
Not everything is the same as the last one that we did. So I get a feel for the house. Like, what does this house want? What style is it? What color scheme I'm going to go with? And I think just getting that confidence over the years, you know, with each flip that we do, I set the bar even higher on the next one. They just get better and better and better. And I'm going to tell you, it wasn't until Van Ness, and I didn't even get to see that property. He went, my job was a little more restricted to where I couldn't leave during the day. He had a little bit more freedom. And him and our agent, Chris Thistle, went to go look at Van Ness. And Jason posted it on his story. I was like, well, let me see what we're buying.
Yeah.
I was like,
we were looking for a house for ourselves, bro. Because I always wanted to be on Van Ness, bro. And I was like,
you
I
don't.
like Christmas Tree Lane. And
No,
then
you
I
don't.
looked at the house and you called me, bro. And I remember talking to you and you're like, bro, if you're buying this for yourself, he's like, we won't submit an offer. You know what I'm saying? And that's not normal, I think, amongst a lot of investors. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and I wouldn't even have blamed you. I wouldn't even have said anything, dude. But I remember we talked about it and it just, for whatever reason, it didn't work out for us. But yeah, anyways, go ahead. Yeah.
oh yeah. And I watched his story. I was like, what the fuck
It
are
was
we
crazy.
buying?
That was a wild house, bro. It was crazy. It was
was
like a jungle.
bad. It was
wild.
so bad.
Yeah.
We bought it at like 450 or 475, and the comp.
No, we submitted an offer at 500,000.
Yeah,
I'm like $500,000 for something that the walls are falling apart.
Yeah.
Like they were Adobe and they were just straight disintegrating.
that was our first $1 million flip. But it at the time when we bought it, the comp was across the street. It was 850.
Yeah.
And then I told him, I said,
Yeah.
Those are tight numbers.
Would you
when
sell
gotta
for
redo
1.1?
the whole house, right?
1.1, bro.
1.1 we
Yeah.
sold
but
it
I
for.
told him, I said, we are on motherfucking Christmas Tree Lane.
Yeah.
Not any other house is the same as this one. We can
You can do
push
whatever
the
the
chip.
hell
Yeah,
you
we
Bro,
can
you
do
guys
the
and you guys
same
did it,
thing.
dude. I remember you said we're doing 175 grand on the exterior
Yeah,
landscape.
landscape.
I'm doing a block wall and a freaking whole. I was like, bro, you are crazy, bro. I was like in my head, I was like, this is 175. I thought you were gonna spend 175 grand on the whole house,
I
and we
fought
just
for
did
that
it.
block
You
wall.
did, and you
I
did it, yeah. And that's why,
fought for that thing.
yeah. Oh man, that was wild.
75 on the exterior.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was more like 250.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, because you did the pool,
Dude, it was a
whole
half-acre
cinder block
lot.
wall, power
Yeah.
gate,
But 50
full
of that,
landscape.
but yeah, 50
concrete.
of that we ended up because we had to put new Christmas trees and drip irrigation and DG walkways and stuff because remember the county sued us
Yeah.
for cutting that one tree. Cost us 50 extra grand in landscaping outside of our property that we didn't even own.
Wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got us.
And then Santa Ana, when the appraisal came in
Crazy, bro.
$400,000
It's all
short.
these things, dude. Yeah, it's wild. We were doing a deal. We had full asking offer, and the appraisal came in
1.1.
$400,000 low, bro. 400 grand.
How did you contest that? You're just like, what the fuck is this?
Bruh.
Contested it.
Yeah.
Brought it up another 100,000 and
And then we talked the buyers into moving it because we were like, dude, this is
Just get a different
Yeah.
lender.
dude, we've all been in the game.
Yeah.
I leveraged. I picked up the phone, called Mark Navarro, called Brad, called everybody we know. We having conversations like, dude, we may be off by 40 grand on the ARV,
But we're not off on
400.
fucking.
but we're
400
not off
grand.
400,000. So
Yeah.
this ain't right. And then you start talking to the people that've been in the game for a long time and find out, dude,
Let's move the loan.
1.1 is
Yeah.
fine, Brad.
yeah.
You know, Chris has been in the game for 20 years. He ain't fucking $400,000 off. You talk about scared?
Yeah, that one. That
We're
one.
writing a big
He's
check.
driving. I
guess.
said,
Yeah,
you
that's
might want to
what-
pull over.
I was like,
Brad."
is this a good pullover or a bad pullover? And it was a good one, or it was a bad one, dude. I was like, oh god.
But yeah, we ended up talking to buyers into moving it so we could keep the loan together to get a different appraiser, and it came in and it appraised at 1.1.
Yeah.
That house was every bit of 1.1.
Yeah, that was an amazing.
It was a
yeah.
beautiful
It was a good house.
Yeah.
Talk about how you structure all of your financing on those big ones, though, because
Well, typically,
and
like,
that like lets
Van
you
Ness,
take on that risk. Because I was like, man, how do you take it on? He fucking does it in the best way possible.
He didn't want to take
But
it.
he structures them
Well, we-
right to where it's
we-
not
just
as
like with Brad
asshole
and
puckery.
Wayne or other private investors, we're going to do a big deal. We want 100% funding, purchase, rehab, no interest, no points, and we're going to split the profit on the back end. That way, if we make $1 or if we make 100,000, it's 50-50, right?
Yeah.
We're going to do all the work. So that's how we've done the $1 million homes. Besides
Yeah.
the one we did with
Yeah.
Jason,
Yeah.
and then we did the same thing.
Yeah, similar things. Just brought multiple lenders in.
Yeah.
multiple lenders in and structured it and then split it on the back end.
Yeah.
But we we've had private money investors bring the house and the money and say, you want to do it? Like Big Holland,
Big home.
it was brought to us
Yeah.
and the money. And if we didn't want to do it, they weren't going to do it. It was
Yeah.
just, it would have been a dead deal and
Yeah.
someone else would have got it.
Joe
But
Coco brought it to Wayne because he knew that Wayne.
then Brad and Wayne brought it to us and
then,
we
they said,
partnered.
well, only do this deal if Erin and
You guys are
Cleadus
doing
do it.
yeah.
And so we walked in like, what the fuck is this? It was almost like watching Jason's
Yeah.
story again.
But when we
Get
started that,
rats on the ground and
hey, dude, when we started that deal, we bought at 750, I think it was.
yeah.
ARV was like 1.2. When we listed at 2.6,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? We're
Oh, we
done.
shot for the stars.
Well, we had to.
You
Like,
can't go up.
Can't go
You
backwards.
can only go down.
we sold it.
You can't go
Hey,
up.
we had the highest sold house in Old Fig history when that thing closed, bro. Until no, it was like 6 months.
Until a Simi sold one.
Simi sold his
Yeah.
for 2.5 when he was listed at 3.8.
Oh, the big one. Yeah.
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 Oh my, he took wow. Bro, that's
So,
nuts.
Good times.
All right, guys. You got any other questions,
Nope,
Jason?
that's it, man.
We're
This is
about-
good.
We got people showing up.
Okay.
Parting words for the people, guys.
Don't give up. You can't fail if you don't quit.
Yep. You can never fail if you don't quit. And you know what? Always be willing to help somebody else, because somebody else helped you, and don't forget that. None of us got here by ourselves.
Nope.
You know? Huh? Yeah. You ever seen a turtle on a fence post?
Mm.
Well, if you do, just know he didn't get there by himself.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like it, dude. Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for
I love
tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And then where can people find you guys on social media?
IG. I'm Erin Shelton, REI, real estate investor, and he's Cleat Dog with a W
And then
Yeah,
Erin,
G, dog.
Shelton, and Cleadus Shelton on,
on
Facebook.
Facebook. Yep.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Find me at the pawn shop or at a place.
Hanging
Yeah.
out with
What's the
Uncle
name of the
Tom
pawn
at the
shop?
pawn shop.
What's the name?
Auto Pawn of Fresno, like that on IG. And then how about Next Day Holloway Trash Company? And then we'll soon have a Cullinan IG.
I love it. God.
We're gonna
very
use the
diversified.
Conan to
I know.
pick up. I want to use the Conan to pick up Pace and his family when he.
Oh,
gets
that's a
down.
good damn.
Yes.
Like,
There
so
it
like
is.
when-
There it is.
We won't even
Pace-
charge you.
block the block
Matt.
deal champs.
What
We'll
the
pay.
fuck?
No, we're paying.
We got
We'll
a
pay. Yeah, we pay.
$4,000 note on this
yeah,
bitch.
Yeah, no, we're paying.
No, we're for sure
Yeah,
paying you
yeah.
on it. But like,
But
April.
remember the first time they came to Fresno, I didn't know who they were. Pace and Jamil.
yeah,
And Zuber calls me and is like, hey, can you take them around and show them some of your flips? I'm like, sure. They get in my car. I had no clue who they were. And we're rolling
Random
around the
guys.
caddy listening to E40 Too Short.
Love it.
And I'm taking them to all of our flips.
hell yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Peace.